Welcome to the What Every Worker Needs to Know course. In this What Every Worker Needs to Know course, you will learn the following: establishing a bank account, employment-related forms, taxes and reporting your income, budgeting and maintaining quality of life, managing change, finding community resources, applying for unemployment. Establishing a bank account. Many employers now require you to have your paycheck direct deposited, which poses a big problem for those individuals with little, no, or bad credit. Fortunately, there are many options available for those who find themselves in this situation. Direct deposit without a checking account includes no credit check, prepaid credit card, EBT, ETA. Click on the folders to find out more. No credit check. Approved checking account. No credit check, guaranteed approval checking accounts. Below is an example of a prepaid credit card. Electronic Benefit Transfer Program. Beneficiaries without bank accounts living in some states have additional choices. If an individual prefers the convenience of a debit card, they can obtain a Benefits Security Card. The Benefits Security Card is available in Alabama, Arkansas, Florida, Georgia, Kentucky, Missouri, North Carolina, and Tennessee. Anyone who does not have a bank account and receives a Social Security and/or supplementary security income check, as well as various other types of federal benefit payments, can get a Benefit Security Card. The debit card is available through the Department of Treasury's Electronic Benefit Transfers (EBT) program. When a person signs up for Benefit Security Card, their federal payment is deposited in an account set up just for them. A Benefit Security Card can be used at automatic tellers, machines, and point-of-sale devices. There are fees associated with the service. To sign up for the program, individuals should call the customer service helpline for their state. The toll-free numbers are listed at www.fms.treas.gov/ebt/factsheet HTML, the Department of the Treasury website. Direct Deposit ETA. To encourage federal check recipients to consider an account at a financial institution and to use direct deposit, the Department of Treasury introduced an easy and affordable option, electronic transfer account, ETA. An ETA is a low-cost account at a bank, credit union, or savings and loan to which federal benefit payments are deposited electronically. Anyone who receives a federal benefit payment is eligible. Institutions offering ETAs have a decal in their window or lobbies identifying them as a certified ETA provider.
Laura, I'm so excited. I just got hired.
That's great news, but there sure is a lot of things you still need to do.
Like what?
Lots of things. You're going to need a bank account and prove your eligibility to work in the United States, and you have to pay taxes, develop a budget, learn how to deal with stress, etc.
I've never had a bank account. Why do I need one now?
First, most employers require a bank account for direct deposit of your paychecks, and there are benefits to having a bank account, such as it's safer than carrying cash, and having a bank account makes it easier to keep track of your finances.
I don't have good credit. What am I supposed to do?
Many banks allow you to open a new account as long as you're over 18 and have 2 forms of identification. Fees vary from place to place, but accounts are usually free if you have direct deposit. New hire forms. The list below represents the most common forms provided to new employees after hire: I-9, W-2, and direct deposit. Payroll taxes and reporting of your income. The Federal Insurance Contribution Act tax is a United States payroll tax imposed by the federal government on both employees and employers to fund Social Security and Medicare federal programs that provide benefits for retirees, the disabled, and children of deceased workers. Social Security benefits include old age survivors and disability insurance. Medicare provides hospital insurance benefits. The amount one pays in payroll taxes throughout one's working career is indirectly tied to the Social Security benefits annuity that one receives as a retiree. Generally, FICA taxes are collected at a rate of 7.65% on gross earnings before any deductions. The breakdown of FICA is 6.2% for Social Security and 1.45% for Medicare. Please click on the tabs above for reviewing a pay stub. Abbreviations. Familiarize yourself with any abbreviations that may appear when you read a pay stub. Popular abbreviations include YTD, year to date, FT or ST, federal tax or state tax, MED, Medicare, SS, Social Security. Start by reading the payment amounts. The gross pay will be the total amount that you earned during that particular pay period. The net pay is the actual amount that you take home with you.
Tax figures. Move on to the tax figures listed on your pay stub. The federal tax amount is the payment that you made to the federal government, while the state tax figure is the money that you must pay to the state government to cover your taxes.
Withholdings and year to date. Read the withholdings made by Medicare and Social Security on your paycheck stub. Each employee must pay approximately 1.5% to Medicare for future retirement medical benefits and a little more than 6% for Social Security payments made after you retire. This rate can be changed by the government at any time. Consider the year-to-date field on your check stub. This is usually found next to each deduction and will let you know how much you have paid towards each category so far this year. Deductions. Look for other deductions included on your paycheck stub. Any type of contributions you make will also be listed on a pay stub. These may include union dues, 401k contributions amounts, insurance deduction, and pension plans.
How do I prove I'm eligible to work in the United States?
Upon hire, you will be required to complete IRS Form I-9, so you will need to make sure you bring 2 forms of identification, one with a picture. A driver's license and Social Security card will generally do it.
What do you mean I have to pay taxes?
When you earn income as an employee, you are required by law to pay certain state and federal taxes. This is done by completing the IRS W-2 form to determine how much is withheld from your paycheck. The first and most important step to effective financial planning is developing and implementing a budget. That, of course, sounds easy and even simplistic. But if it were so easy, do you think that so many millions of people would be as deeply in debt as they are? In its simplest form, budgeting simply means to live with one's financial means. This is in sharp contrast to the prevailing lifestyle of living beyond your means. And how do you live beyond your means? The answer, of course, is by using credit. Click on the tabs provided for you on the left-hand side to learn more about reporting your income. Do I have to report my earnings to Social Security? Yes. If you work and get SSI, then you must report your earnings. If you have a representative payee, then your representative payee must report your earnings. If you participate in the Ticket to Work program, you should also report your earnings to the Employment Network or state vocational rehabilitation agency that is helping you reach your work goals. Do I need to report anyone else's earnings? Yes. Sometimes you must report someone else's earnings. Here are a few examples. Your spouse works and lives with you and has earnings. A child getting SSI lives with a parent who has earnings. Or you are a non-citizen and have a sponsor and your sponsor has earnings, even if your sponsor doesn't live with you. What specific earnings information do I have to report? You need to report the following: monthly gross wages, for example, the amount before taxes or after deductions are subtracted. If you start or stop working, increases or decreases in your wages or self-employment income, if you start or stop a second or third job, work expenses related to your disability, and if you are blind, any work expenses. What earnings information does Social Security need to see? Every pay stub, including pay stubs for overtime, vacation, and bonuses. If self-employed, copies of your federal income tax form Schedule SE, Schedule C, Schedule CEZ, or Schedule F. Receipts for work expenses related to your disability. If you are blind, receipts for any work expenses and receipts for expenses paid to reach your plan to achieve self-support plan to achieve self-support PASS occupational goal. When and how do I report earnings? When you start or stop work, or when there is a change in your earnings, you need to report this information right away. This information must be reported no later than the 10th day of the month after the month of change. For example, if you get SSI and start working on May 22nd, then you must report this information no later than June 10th. You must continually report your earnings by the 10th day of the month following the months of earnings. You may call us at 1-800-772-1213. Or you may call, visit, or write your local Social Security office. Social Security also now offers a toll-free automated wage reporting telephone system. Ask Social Security how you can report wages using the automated telephone system.
Annie, you mentioned certain state and federal taxes. Why am I paying them?
Larry, taxes are collected to fund Social Security, Medicare, other social programs, and to help run the government.
I'm confused. I'm paying for Social Security out of my paycheck, and I receive Social Security benefits.
Rightfully so. In this case, because you work and receive SSI, you must report your earnings. If you receive a ticket to work, you should also inform your VR counselor.
My wife works. Do I have to report her income too?
Yes, you have to report your wife's income to Social Security. If you are a non-citizen and your sponsor has earnings, you are required to report your sponsor's earnings, even if your sponsor does not live with you. If you had children who receive Social Security benefits, you would also have to report their earnings.
Annie, when should I report income information to Social Security, and what do I tell them?
Larry, if you start or stop working, if your income increases or decreases, if you get a second or third job, and if you have work expenses related to your disability, they will need all of your pay stubs, including pay stubs for bonuses, overtime, and vacation, receipt for work expenses related to your disability, and if you had a plan to achieve self-support, expenses paid to your occupational goal.
Wow! Exactly when do I have to report earning information to Social Security?
As soon as possible. Information must be reported to Social Security no later than 10 days after the end of the month of the change. For example, if you started working or had a change of income on May 22nd, you would have to report this change no later than June 10th. Income must be reported on the same schedule each month you work. You can report your income by calling 1-800-772-1213 or by visiting, calling, or writing your local Social Security office. Budgeting and maintaining quality of life. If your debt is already out of control, it will be that much harder to implement a budget. However, it's important that you do begin a budget if you are in debt. Without one, it's almost certain that you'll never be able to live without debt. A budget forces you to get your spending under control, to live below your means. And if you have debt that must be paid off, living below your means is exactly what you're going to have to do. Only then will you free up money that can go towards reducing and eliminating your debt. Budgeting and maintaining a quality of life. So how do you make a budget? There are numerous charts and software and all kinds of things that you can buy to help you. They are all fine, but all that you really need is a notebook, a pencil, and a small calculator. Once you have these tools, sit down and note everything that you spend money on in a month. Everything. You need to know exactly where your money is going, every penny of it. This may take more than one sitting because you may have to track your expenditures for a while, possibly a whole pay period. Keep all of your receipts. Ascertaining that your monthly bills shouldn't be much of a problem. You know what your mortgage and car payments are, along with your utility bills. It's the money that seems to slip away from you with nothing to show for it that you really need to concern yourself with. This is the area that you need to track. Maintaining quality of life. Work versus life. You need a balance. As this statement, maintain a healthy work-life balance, states, work is not or should not be your whole life. Believe it or not, it really is important to maintain a healthy work-life balance. If not for you, for your family. It's simply not healthy to work all the time. Allow yourself some time for you and realize how quickly your quality of life will improve.
Now that I'm working, how do I keep track of my money?
The first thing you need to do is make a budget.
What's that supposed to mean?
In the simplest sense, don't spend more than you make.
I'm already in debt, so why should I bother with a budget?
Tom, creating and committing to a budget is how you work on reducing and eliminating your debt. This is also how you can save money for things like a new car, vacation trips, or unexpected expenses.
Do I need to buy one of those expensive budget software packages or pay an accountant?
No, Tom, all you really need is a pencil, some paper, and a calculator.
Then what?
Make a list of every expense. That includes incidental, daily expenses, and monthly bills. Add up your total income for the month, then subtract your expenses. The difference is considered spending money. This is what you need to track.
What if I can't remember all my expenses?
Keep every receipt for every purchase or expense and total them at the end of the month. This will help you better estimate your actual expenses for a more accurate budget.
Between working and budgeting and bank accounts, how do I maintain balance in my life?
Good point. The most important thing you should remember is to maintain a healthy work-life balance.
How do you do that?
Well, here's what works for me. Why don't you give it a try?
Okay.
I leave work at work, and I work from home sometimes, if I can. When I get vacation days, I use them to avoid burning out. Me time is important too. I put it in my calendar, just like an appointment, to make sure I don't forget. Making sure there is at least one work-free day per week helps quite a bit. When there is a big project or urgent task, I pace myself. To feel less stress, I exercise during my breaks, and when not at work, I pursue hobbies and other interests outside of work and make sure I get enough sleep.
That's great advice. I'll definitely give some of these things a try.
Please click on the tabs below to learn more about tips to a healthier lifestyle. Step 4. Make family time a priority, especially if you have kids. You don't want your kids to remember you as a workaholic. A great way to spend time with your family is to make family dinner a priority. Don't make it an option. Make it mandatory. Enjoy your family dinner and don't rush away from the table. Work can come and go, but family is forever. Step 2. Work from home if you can. Of course, you'll still have to work a full day, but you can take some time out for a home-cooked lunch or give yourself a break for a few minutes when you need it. Also, when working from home, dedicate a certain room to doing work. Keep work out of your bedroom because this is a place for your relaxation, not work. Giving work its own space in your home will help you maintain a healthy work-life balance. Step 3. Take your vacation days. You earn them, so use them. A healthy work-life balance involves taking some days away from the office. Whether you go away or take a stay-at-home vacation, use up every single one of your vacation days. Even if your company has a vacation selling program, it may be best to use the vacation days for your own relaxation. Step 5. Institute a policy of work-free weekends. As an adult, you have plenty of responsibilities outside of work. Spend the weekends relaxing, running errands, spending time with family, and having fun. When is the last time you stopped to read a book? Here's your chance. Take a few hours on the weekend to get lost in a bestseller, an old classic, or a fun romance novel. Step 1. Unless you really can't do so, leave work at work. Even if you work from home, you can confine your work to a certain number of hours a day in order to guarantee yourself some time for you. For at least a few hours a day, put down the BlackBerry, log out of email, and take some time to relax. Click on the tabs to the right to learn more about tips to healthier lifestyles. Step 9. Sleep. Seriously, while sleeping may not be the most exciting thing on earth, and you certainly aren't living it up while you're asleep, but sleep is important. Without proper sleep, you aren't able to properly function. Without being able to function, you won't enjoy life, and both your work and personal life will suffer. So for goodness sakes, get at least 7 hours of sleep a night. Step 7. Exercise. Even a half hour of moderate exercise will give you energy and give you the strength to face the day. If your work location offers a gym facility, take advantage of them. Instead of sitting in a cafeteria eating an unhealthy lunch, pack yourself a healthy sandwich to eat at your desk and spend your lunch hour at the company gym. Step 8. Join a club or get a hobby. These two things will give you something outside of work to look forward to, which is an important factor in maintaining a healthy work-life balance. You will enjoy partaking in these activities, and participating in these will help you see that there is more to life than just work. Step 6. Set limitations at work. It may be tough to explain to your boss why you cannot work past a certain hour every night, but a reasonable boss will understand your need for a work-life balance. If your boss does not understand, go to your work's human resource department. A human resources representative may be able to act as your work-life balance advocate. Managing change. It's a fact. Some people handle change better than others. While we recognize that no one has the absolute answer to coping with change, we'll look at some practical suggestions you can use to make the process go a little more smoothly for you. Change is happening at a faster pace today. Global, technological, economic, and social shifts are all causing sweeping changes in our lives. Moreover, few of us see change coming. Either we are too wrapped up in our daily business of living to be aware of it, or we choose to take the ostrich approach and bury our heads in the sand. The result is, of course, that we don't plan for change. In other words, the future is here before we know it. Please click the buttons below to learn the 5 tips in managing change. Tip 1. Tune into change in the workplace and new trends in the world. Read publications related to your organization's business and type of work. Remember, people who are aware that change is coming have a better chance to take advantage of the opportunities that change often presents. Tip 2. Take control of change. Carol thinks that she may lose her job this year because her company is downsizing. Carol can worry and agonize, or she can be proactive by doing some personal planning. For instance, Carol can find out what other jobs would be available to a person with her skill and experience. In fact, she might find it helpful to seek the advice of a career counselor. People who take control of change have a chance to plan and consider their options. In other words, they are more likely to become managers of change instead of victims of change. Tip 3. Don't overwhelm yourself with change. For instance, George, who is facing an early retirement, should realize that he is not just saying goodbye to his job. This transition will trigger a chain reaction that will involve change in routines, relationships, and income. If George is planning to move, he might find it best to postpone relocating until he has adjusted to some of the other changes in his life. Tip 4. Understand that adjustment to a major change takes time. Consider Don and Kathy, who have recently moved into their dream home. They continuously reminisce about the old neighborhood and are beginning to wonder if moving was a mistake. Don and Kathy should go easy on themselves. It will take time for them to appreciate and reinforce their preferred choice of home. This will put their nostalgic feelings for the old neighborhood into perspective. Tip 5. Develop a positive attitude towards change. The experts tell us that our attitude towards change will affect our success at managing change. It's important to realize that one of the things over which each person has control is his or her attitude. In other words, you can choose to view change as a problem or as a challenge. Which employee do you think is more likely to be able to cope with change? The one who says, "I can't do this," or the one who says, "I've succeeded in the past and I'll succeed now"? Please click the buttons below to learn more about managing change. Tip 6. Boost your self-esteem. People who see change as opportunity and trust their ability to deal with it and enhance their lives as a result of it are able to do so because of higher levels of self-esteem. Positive self-esteem comes primarily from one of these 3 sources: hearing good things about yourself, thinking good things about yourself, doing something that you are proud of. Tip 7. Be aware that change brings stress. In other words, be alert to physical, mental, and emotional signs of stress. Even the hardiest people may experience stress reactions, such as feelings of depression and isolation when change is too rapid. It is important to identify coping strategies that have worked before. For example, joining a self-help group of organizations where people find it helpful to be with others who are going through a similar experience. Tip 8. Take care of yourself. Remember that the more attention you pay to proper nutrition, adequate rest, and regular exercise, the easier it will be for you to cope with the demands of change. Tip 10. Turn to others for support. As you go through a change, it's important to turn to others for advice, information, and emotional support. Your social support network may include the following: spouse or partner, family, friends, coworkers, business contacts, professional counselors, institutions, and organizations. Ben, managing change is also a part of maintaining a healthy lifestyle.
Shannon, how so?
Some people handle change well. Others have a difficult time coping with change.
I feel I fall into the latter category.
Well, let's take a look at some practical suggestions to make the process go a little more smoothly for you. First, always be aware, in the context of your line of work and the industry, of news and developments in order to give yourself time to prepare and adjust.
Sometimes I know that change is coming, but there's nothing I could do about it.
There is something you can do. Be proactive. For example, if you know your company is downsizing, you can start planning such as updating your resume and find out what other companies in your industry are hiring. Taking control of change empowers you to become a manager of change instead of a victim.
Sometimes it all seems like too much.
Don't overwhelm yourself with change. You can't predict the future. Just try to handle one thing at a time. Speaking of time, adjusting to change takes time. It takes time to get used to budgeting, banking, working with new people, among other things. Time helps put things into perspective.
I see. I really don't like change.
It's important to develop a positive attitude towards change. Sometimes change can result in good things. For example, additional responsibility at work can be difficult to adjust to, but can lead to an increase in pay. Your attitude towards change affects your ability to manage change.
So if I feel good about change, I will do well with change?
Exactly. If you see change as an opportunity and trust in your ability to deal with it, you will have greater self-esteem and adjust to change more quickly. Be aware that change brings stress. This goes back to what I said about maintaining a healthy work-life balance. Remember to pay attention to proper nutrition, adequate rest, and regular exercise. This makes it easier to cope with stress of change.
Sometimes I feel like I'm the only one having problems adjusting to change.
It's important to remember that if you're having difficulty adjusting to change, others probably are too. Don't be afraid to turn to others for support, friends, family, counselors, coworkers, to name a few. Reading a roadmap. Roadmaps are not just about drawings of streets, towns, and cities. When you first look at a roadmap, it might look cryptic with all the symbols, numbers, and other pieces of data. Reading a roadmap doesn't require rocket science, but it needs at least the ability to read symbols and scaling. Once you know how to properly read a roadmap, you can get on your road trip with ease.
Lily, I have a meeting at the library downtown. Do you have a map I can borrow?
Well, Derek, I don't have any maps, but you can use Google Maps from a computer with an internet connection.
How does that work?
You start by going to http://maps.google.com in a web browser. You just type in the address you want to see on the map and it shows you.
Can I get directions on Google Maps?
Yes, you can. Click on Get Directions, enter the starting address and destination address. Click on the icon above to select your method of transportation and click Get Directions. It shows you estimated travel time and multiple routes to each destination.
What about finding my way back?
Just to the right of the address box, click the double arrow to swap destination addresses with your starting address. Google does the hard work for you and gives you new routes.
Lily, what if my computer is down?
You can use a computer at a library or ask a friend of yours for assistance. Finding community resources. Community hotline, SafeLink, free cell phone for qualified candidates. LIHEAP, Low-Income Home Energy Assistance Program assists low-income households in meeting immediate home energy needs. Better Business Bureau.
Where can I find help in my community?
There are a variety of resources available in the county you reside in. By simply calling 211, the community hotline can give you information regarding many services available in your area, such as free cell phones, electrical assistance, food banks, etc. Click on the tabs provided for you to the left to learn more about unemployment benefits. Can I file a claim? Any individual who is currently unemployed or partially unemployed can file a claim. 2 determinations must be made on a claim to determine eligibility. The first determination will advise the individual if you have had sufficient work and earning in Florida to establish a monetarily eligible claim. A monetarily eligible claim does not necessarily mean that you are eligible to receive benefits. The second determination pertains to the separation from the last or possibly next to the last employer. The reason for separation from the last employer, possibly the next to the last employer, and other eligibility requirements must be examined to determine if you are eligible to receive benefits. The second determination will not be issued until the claim is filed and the claimant has actually certified for weeks of unemployment. What are the general eligibility requirements to receive unemployment compensation benefits? To establish a monetarily eligible unemployment compensation claim, a person must have worked and earned wages during the first 4 quarters of the previous 5 completed quarters prior to filing a claim. This period of time is called the base period. The base period changes every 3 months at the beginning of each new quarter, starting in January, April, July, and October. To qualify monetarily, a person must have been paid wages in 2 or more calendar quarters in the base period, have total base period wages of at least 1.5 times the wage in the quarter having the highest earnings, have at least 3,400 total wages in the base period. Monetary determination. After the monetary determination is issued, then the reason for separation from the last employer must be reviewed with the claimant and employer to determine eligibility for benefits. If you have not earned 17 times your weekly benefit amount with your last employer, the reason for separation from your next to the last employer may also affect your eligibility for benefits. An individual can receive benefits if separation from the job through no fault of their own. Unemployment benefits. An individual may be eligible for benefits if the discharge was for reasons other than misconduct. Misconduct is defined as intentional or controllable acts or failures to take action which show a deliberate disregard of the employer's interest. Inefficiencies, unsatisfactory job performance, inadvertencies, or ordinary negligence in isolation instances or good faith errors in judgment or discretion are not deemed to be misconduct within the meaning of the law. Actively search for a job. The claimant must also be able to work, available for work, and actively seeking employment to be eligible for benefits. Agency regulations provide that to be considered available for work, a claimant must actively seek work in a manner customary to the occupation in which work is being sought. The claimant must be without undue restriction that lessen the chance of becoming reemployed at the earliest possible time. All claimants are required to keep a record of their work search contacts while receiving unemployment compensation benefits. Discharged. Am I eligible for benefits if I was discharged, voluntarily quit, self-employed, a school employee between terms, not able and available for work, receive severance pay or wage in lieu of notice, or receiving retirement income, etc.? Determinations concerning eligibility for benefits can only be made after a claim is filed, as we are required to obtain the facts from you and the employer concerning these and other eligibility issues.